Hey, how's it going? NES&Up here with another review for a hot little game called Cyber Shadow. You've probably heard of it by now. It's a game made by Mechanical Head Studios and published by Yacht Club Games. I'm sure you heard of Yacht Club Games, or at least heard of their game, which is the amazing Shovel Knight. And they also published the Azure Striker Gunvolt series. And something I want to point out about Mechanical Head Studios that's pretty badass is that the man behind the game, Aarne Hunziker, I'm sorry if I butchered your name, mostly worked on the game on his own. Like no one else helping design or direct the game. He's the director and the designer. So big kudos to you, and I can see your passion for this game through your work. So thanks, and your dedication surely shows, man. And with that being said, I just want to give a huge thanks to Mechanical Head Studios and Yacht Club Games for giving me the opportunity to review this game by giving me an early copy. So thanks a lot. You guys are awesome for that. So yeah, now onto the game itself because that's why you're here, right? Cyber Shadow is an action platformer and, according to the devs, is inspired by old school fun found in NES games like Ninja Gaiden, Batman, and Shatterhand. Now, I gotta admit that prior to this game, I never heard of Shatterhand. I'm a retro fanboy, but I don't know every game, you know? Shatterhand seems pretty cool from what I looked up. I can definitely see how those games influenced Cyber Shadow. And if I had to mention more games that Cyber Shadow personally gave me feelings of, I'd say it definitely has some vibes from Metroid, Castlevania, eSWAT, DuckTales, Mega Man, and my all-time favorite game, Skyblazer. I'd say it has elements of all those games I mentioned, and I'm also sure you can see familiarity in other games that you've experienced on your own, you know? So let's talk about the plot. In the game, you play as Shadow, a cyborg ninja who sets out to rescue his fallen clan in a world overrun by synthetic lifeforms, harvesting them for their powers. It is specifically set in the ruins of the fictional Mekacity. Now, I got that directly from the devs, but it seems to sum it up pretty well. But I gotta say, there's definitely more to the story than just that. But I'll avoid story spoilers because I thought it was an interesting little story that you should experience and enjoy yourself, as it can get a bit deep at times. You know, many of these old school games have a subpar story, but this one definitely isn't like that. So I'll leave it at that and just say, compared to what we expect for these retro games, Cyber Shadow definitely has an interesting story that's worth your time. While we're on the topic of time, I guess I'll tell you how long it took me to beat the game. It took me around 10 hours or so. I did some exploration, but I didn't 100% it yet. Also, I want to add that maybe on your first playthrough, it would take you 7 hours or so, as I did leave the game running a couple of times, and I mean, just look at that death count too. That final boss just destroyed me, along with the last levels. Those destroyed me too, but the final boss was really killer for me. Now let's jump to the best part of any game for me, which is the gameplay. Cyber Shadow is a pure work of art from the dev. You can see it through the gameplay for sure. It's just so smooth that I know for sure the developer put all his love into it. The way you move, attack, and control Shadow is just flawless. I didn't experience any hiccups or glitches on my playthrough. Now, Shadow can swing his sword and throw shurikens. You also get new attacks and a bunch of other moves that you acquire by progressing further in the game, but I won't go into the other moves as it can step into spoiler territory at times. But just know that in time you go from being a kick-ass ninja to a ninja that can kick more ass, harder, faster, and way easier. You also get standard health upgrades that bring up your HP bar, and you also get other upgrades that brings up your spirit bar, which pretty much counts like a magic meter to throw shurikens and other upgrades you could acquire. Both of these upgrades for the health and the spirit meter can be found throughout the game, and if you miss any of them, you can go back to previous levels to collect anything you missed. You know, Cyber Shadow definitely falls into the Metroidvania territory. One thing I have to mention is that the game starts off pretty easy. and you should be fine for the most part, but around the 4th level, I noticed the difficulty increases. Now, it wasn't anything that will cause too much frustration, but it'll definitely change your pace up a bit. Cyber Shadow definitely has its cheap enemies and moments, like enemies knocking you into pits or insta death traps, but I don't think anything was ridiculously placed to frustrate you, the gamer. There's also a nice amount of bosses that are all cool and unique, and there's also some cool action set pieces that I promise you're gonna love. For me, the hardest part of the game was the last boss, honestly. He killed me many times, I mean many times. Just be ready to fight multiple life bars is all I'm gonna say without spoiling the ending or the end fight. I'm not gonna spoil anything, but just be ready for that. This game highly rewards patience. I found that if I took my time, everything was way easier. But I'm sure that if you're really good at these games, you can easily zoom through the obstacles with all the upgrades and abilities you get. And I'm really interested to see the speedruns and how they're gonna approach this game. So let's talk about the sound, as this review is getting really long, but I really love this game, so I just wanted to talk as much as I could about it. But the music and the sound in games are one of the reasons why I love the retro scene so much. In Cyber Shadow, the sound effects are well made and so is the music. But I gotta say, the music wasn't too special where I want to download and listen to it on its own. But it definitely did deliver on getting the feeling right for the atmosphere and setting. Let's say like in a game like Shovel Knight, I downloaded some tracks because they were just pure fire, you know? Know what I mean? Overall, I gotta say, I was highly excited for Cyber Shadow for a long time, and it definitely delivered on all aspects for me. Gameplay, story, characters, and all of it was good. Though the music was just normal for me, that doesn't mean it was bad or forgettable. I'm definitely looking forward to more games or updates from the studios. Mechanical Head Games did an amazing job bringing their art to life. I highly recommend this game to any fan of the genre and just retro in general. It's a highly enjoyable action-packed game with a great little story. This game is going to come out on PlayStation, Switch, PC, and Xbox, and it's going to be on Game Pass day one. So thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed it, just leave me a comment, a like, and hit that subscribe button for me if you want to see more. Take care and see you next time.